friends, welcome back. I am so glad that you're here today, and if you are new, welcome. In today's video, I am doing a day in my life ultimate pre-holiday clean with me. I definitely had so many spaces, as you can see here in this preview, that definitely needed some deep cleaning, so come along with me as I deep clean behind my stove, refrigerator, my windows, and let's get started with this video. I'm going to start off by showing you what I have in my grocery haul for this day. So on this day, I had to do a quick run to Sam's Club, just get a few things that we had run out of. I needed eggs, yogurts, waters, creamer, almond butter, and then I bought some ham because I was craving some of that to put in a soup. My husband uses rotisserie chickens in his lunch, and then we get almond milk from Sam's Club. All of these groceries shown are from Sam's Club. Some pizza rolls, some ready-made salads, breads, flour tortillas. My kids love making bean burritos and quesadillas. English muffins for breakfast sandwiches in the morning, which I actually made on this day. And of course, we cannot forget the Starbucks coffee from Sam's Club. So of course, as soon as I got home from the grocery store, I started off by making my kids some breakfast sandwiches. Now on this particular day, I was scheduled to go into work. I did go into work later on in the day, so I just had to make myself get this done before I went into work, because I thought if I don't do it, I'm just going to keep putting it off because I have work and this and that, whatnot. But I am so glad that I did. So as you can see here, I am just getting breakfast started for my kids. And I have to tell you, my pan looks a little bit like really worn. This one I keep because in the morning, my kids, each of them, like my older ones, then my second oldest, then my younger ones, sometimes they will just get up and make their own eggs or fry them bacon. And I do have nicer pans that were actually gifted to me by a friend. And I'm always afraid that they're going to like scratch them or ruin them. So I have one pan. I need to actually replace this one by now. But this one, we just use on an everyday basis. I tell my kids, use the older pans, please, so they don't scratch my new ones. So that's the reason for my kind of crusty looking pan, okay? And I love sriracha on my breakfast sandwiches. I think it's the absolute best. All right, now that I've done my grocery shopping, made breakfast for my kids, put away dishes, put away groceries, I get to get down to the dirty and nitty gritty here, and this looks pretty bad. On one side of the stove, there was just like a whole bunch of rice. Someone must have went to serve them rice and it missed their plate. And then on one side, it looks like maybe pinto beans or a soup boiled over something. I'm not sure. But all I'm using to clean is just warm water, Dawn, and then I love using the Method cleaner for like my greasy cleanups and whatnot. I just let that soak in for a little bit, then I go over it with just soap and water, and came right off. I know it looks bad. It's just mostly very messy, you know, from cooks when I'm not from cooks, but from when I'm cooking, and then spillovers. So I had just noticed these areas like in between my stove, my refrigerator, my cooktop, the griddles. They really needed a good cleaning, and I usually do this about 2 to 3 times a year because, as I mentioned before, we do definitely do a lot of cooking, and I just wanted all of this nice and clean before I started my Thanksgiving cooking. So it wasn't too bad down on the floor. I still did use, you know, like warm water, same Method cleaner to clean up, like just like I said, just food that was spilt over. So yeah, I feel so much better now that this is all cleaned up. All right, moving this refrigerator. Most of this is a lot of like little dust bunnies and whatnot, but that vent behind my refrigerator was out of control. I am so glad that I did this. I actually hadn't done a deep cleaning of my appliances since we got them in the summer. So, as I mentioned, so glad I did that. A lot of like just little like dust bunnies on the side of the refrigerator, too. Nothing bad, just wiped everything down, dusted everything up on the top. And then I, of course, wiped the tile down behind the stove and the refrigerator. Some of those marks on there came from like I guess like the little wheels on the bottom of the appliances. They scratched up the tile, which no biggie. You can't really see it unless you move the appliances, but I just gave everything a really good wipe down with the method cleaner, and then again the Dawn dish soap and warm water came right off. And as I mentioned, I'm just so happy that I did this. And then I go in and clean all the outside of my cabinets. They needed a good wipe down as well. And I did the same thing, just used the method cleaner, warm water, and Dawn dish soap, and that did it. I also cleaned there where I had all of my groceries. I also cleaned up there. I had like some cake stands and big bowls that needed a good cleaning. I'm cleaning my grates here. And again, I just use warm water and, warm soapy water and the method cleaner. If I see that they need a really good scrubbing, then I'll probably add like baking soda on them and some warm water and soap, and that does the trick for me. just to finish off giving my kitchen a good deep clean, I noticed there was like gum or candy, something icky stuck on the floor, so I just used a drywall spatula to take that off, and then I am giving all of my stainless steel appliances a good clean. I notice when I do this on at least a weekly basis, once a week, it definitely helps keep all the fingerprints and smudges down to a minimum, which is great for me. So I definitely do try to do this at least once a week, and it keeps our appliances looking very nice, almost brand new again. And then I just use the Clorox wipe to clean inside the little dispenser where we get our ice and water from our refrigerator. All right, now moving on to day 2. As I mentioned, the first part of this was done on a day that I was scheduled to go into work at a later shift. The next day, I did the same thing. I was determined to get my windows clean, which I'm so glad I did, because I cannot stand to see my windows and blinds with all of these water stains on them. So I am just giving you an overview of what they looked like now. You're gonna see here how dirty this was behind this shelf. Now, all of our other blinds, I at least just give them a really quick wipe down, but this one here was so bad. We're starting off with our vent where our furnace pulls air from for our heater, and that definitely every year I need to give that a good cleaning anyway, change out our filters for our heater. But this window was so bad. I never clean it like on a daily or weekly basis. So I had to take the vacuum to it, take the vacuum to my blinds, and then use my Swiffer. All right, so the next space that I was dreading while I was cleaning was the space behind my couch. I think possibly every mom can relate of what they find. They never know what they're going to find when they move the couches. Candy wrappers, dog toys, mechanical pencils, chapstick, earplugs, spilt drinks that we did not reach or someone didn't remember about. But yeah, this was definitely a hot mess, and it took me like 3 times to scrub that stain. I mopped it twice, and then when I walked back to pull my blinds down after I was done cleaning the windows, I still had to mop again because it was pretty sticky down there. as I mentioned, that stain was a stubborn stain. It was just so bad, but I'm so glad that it's all clean under there. And then here I am just moving on to the blinds in my dining room, and then I'll be moving on to the blinds in our sitting area. And again, as I mentioned, these blinds get dusted probably at least once a week, or at least every other week. So they honestly weren't too bad, but since I was cleaning the windows, I wanted to go ahead and clean my blinds anyway. And then on the inside, I just used the Windex, wipe down the window sills real good. The other thing that I kept seeing was this vent up here. Just all the dust bunnies that were collected around it was not making me very happy. So I'm like, I have to get this done, and I'm so glad that I did. As I sit down and eat dinner, I look around at my spaces and I'm like, okay, what needs to be cleaned? And this space up here definitely needed to be cleaned. I just like for everything to look nice and tidy. Doesn't mean that it stays that way all the time, as you can see. I had actually noticed this late summer, but just with everything going on, I had totally spaced it on cleaning up there. So now I finally got to clean the outside of my windows, which I was super happy to do. Now all I put in my window cleaning solution was, again, warm water, some Dawn, and a little bit of my rinse aid, the one that you put in your dishwasher so it doesn't leave any hard water stains. And then, so I rinsed, then I washed with a fiber, with a micro cloth, and then I rinsed again. And then to clean off the windows, I just used a shower, what are those called? The little shower squeegees to clean the inside of your showers when you're all done. I just used that. It did leave minimal, like little water lines. So whenever it did that, I just went over with the paper towel. I made sure to take off all my screens and rinse them off, just to get off any dirt from, like, you know, the summer rains and winds and whatnot. So I wanted to make sure those were all nice and clean. So I am super happy when I look out my windows in the morning that they are all nice and clean. All right, my friends, I thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. As I mentioned, your support means so much. And if you are new here, welcome. I would love if you would join my YouTube community by hitting that red subscribe button. Be sure to turn on your bell notifications so you can be notified when I upload my next video on Friday. And you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again, friends. Bye-bye now.